Hello everyone, it's Becca from BEKAHBOOKSANDBUJO, and today we are unhauling some books. It is a goal of mine in 2025 to read my TBR down to 200. My current number I think is like 275-ish, something like that. And in order to do that, I'd either have to read 75 books and not acquire any books throughout the year, or I could unhaul some of the unread books on my shelves. And I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to go through shelf by shelf and decide what books really no longer pique my interest. And so you're going to come along with me. We're going to talk through all of my shelves, and I would love to, I don't know, maybe try to get rid of 20 books if I could. Let's make that a goal. We'll see how many we can get rid of by the end of this video, but let's just jump right in. All right, this is my very top shelf on my unread shelves. I have a whole bookshelf dedicated to unread books, or my TBR. This top shelf is all historical fiction. So I think I definitely still want to try Fiona Davis. This is the Magnolia Palace. Sorry for the bad angle, but it's hard to get a good angle on a top shelf. I definitely still want to try Sarah's Key. Louise Erdrich is a Minnesota author, and so I really want to keep this one. Memoirs of a Geisha just feels like such a classic, and so I want to keep that one. I do want to try Pam Jenoff. I think this might be our first unhaul. The Murdered Family by Vernon Keel. This is one that my dad gave me, and I know he said it was good, but I just never have any interest to pick it up. So we'll set this one down for now. I do want to try The Bean Trees. I do want to try The Devil in the White City. I think this might be our second unhaul, Shoot the Moon by Billy Letts. I think this is one that my mother-in-law had multiple copies of, and I don't feel any draw. I very recently got Wolf Hall. It's like one of the best books in the century, and so I want to keep that one. Or is it in the last 20 years? I can't remember, but I do want to keep it. I do want to keep Deacon King Kong. I do want to keep Hamnet. Yes to Dear Mrs. Bird. I do want to keep Jodi Picoult, however you say it. Definitely want to keep Diamond Eye. I want to try Marilyn Robinson. I don't know if she'll be for me, but I do want to try. Then we've got Westwood Giraffes, which I just hauled, so we're keeping that. I do also want to keep Snowflower and the Secret Fan by Lisa C. I want to keep this one. Rules of Civility and The Lincoln Highway by Amor Towles. I would love to keep. I think I could probably part with this one. Beautiful Ruins. Yeah, we'll unhaul that one. Alright, and I think that might be it for the top shelf. There's a little room to grow over here, but also definitely ones that I am excited to read. This next shelf is contemporary, and I'm going to have a hard time probably unhauling any of these, but let's take a look. Gotta step over here, move my little turtle guy for now. Little B. This has been on my shelves for so long. But it sounds so good. The New York Times Book Review said, immensely readable and moving, an affecting story of human triumph. Yeah, we'll keep it for now. I also am still intrigued by The Last Romantics. I want to keep these two. They just seem like such modern classics, I guess. I still want to keep Middlesex. I definitely want to try the Neapolitan novels soon. Oofta. Purity has been on here forever, and I don't even know what it's about. I think I might get rid of this one. I definitely want to try more of Lori Frankel. I read This Is How It Always Is by her and loved it. I want to keep this one because there's music involved, and I haven't tried anything by Lisa Genova. I think I can part with Marley and Me. I've seen the movie, I know the story, and I don't think I need to read it. I want to keep The Pineapple Street. I want to keep Erotic Stories for Punjabi Widows. Let's see, we'll put Turtle Guy back. I'm going to keep the Crazy Rich Asians series. This one I might part with. I think I actually saw Krista from Books and Jams do a lowest rated books on her shelves, like try a chapter maybe. Although I've never tried Anne Lamott maybe I'll just keep it. Where are the Brennans? I will keep. This is one I've also had on my shelves for the longest time. What is this even about? I feel like it could be like sad, like A Little Life, and so that's why I want to keep it. I do want to keep Everything Here Is Beautiful. This one is tricky because I have never read anything by Yann Martel besides Life of Pi. I don't even know if he has any more, but I think I want to keep it. I do want to keep these Leonard Moriarty. I do want to keep Small Worlds, of course, I just got it. And Sally Rooney I'd like to keep, and Mad Honey I want to keep. I'm just going to shift you over because my contemporary shelves, oops, can I spin you? No, not easily. Okay, my contemporary shelves continue on to just this little shelf right here. So let's chat through these. I definitely want to read this 10 minutes, 38 seconds in this strange world, especially since I saw the review from Emily Fox. She loved it. So I'm going to keep that one. I think this is just kind of a classic, so I'd like to keep that. I do want to try this one. Something about lighthouses intrigues me. I want to try all of these Elizabeth Strouts, but you know, I think I might unhaul Slumdog Millionaire. I know the story, I love the movie, and I don't know if the book could hold up to that. So I am going to unhaul this one, and I'll be keeping these two. So contemporary is done. Moving down, this next shelf is romance. And it's not very big. I don't have a lot of romance that I haven't read because I often turn to romance immediately. The Dating Plan, unfortunately, I think is a sequel. And it just, I love the cover. I think it's cute. I'm going to keep it. I got Tilly in Technicolor from a patron recently, and I'd like to give it a try. Anything with bookshop in the title, I'm a sucker for, so I definitely want to keep this one. I think it's about a woman who goes to Ireland and opens up a bookshop. What could go wrong with that? Oh, Scotland, even better. I'm going to keep Icebreaker. This is one I am going to pass on. I thought it was a part of Jasmine Guillory's wedding date series, and now I don't even want to continue that, even though this isn't a part of that series, so I am going to unhaul this one. Jojo Moyes is one of my favorite romance authors, so I'm going to keep her. The Reading Group, again, kind of like with the bookshop buzzword, I want to keep this one. More of a chicklet, I think. I've been wanting to try The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary for forever, so I'm going to keep that one. I have to try Ashley Poston. If I don't do it this year, call me out. I'm going to keep Bridgerton books. I really like that series. Definitely need to try Kennedy Ryan too. Call me out on Ashley Poston and Kennedy Ryan if they're not in any wrap-ups this year. I think I will unhaul The Light We Lost. Never have been drawn toward it, and just don't know much about it. I know it does say Reese's Book Club, so it's probably good, but I'm going to unhaul. I will never unhaul this series. I need to make some progress in it, but Flawless, the first in the Chestnut Springs series, was one of my favorite books of the year last year. So, we'll keep those. I do want to pan, terrible at panning, over to this shelf. I'm not going to unhaul any Heartstoppers, but I am going to unhaul blankets. I have read this, so I know we're not just sticking to my unread shelves, but I have no desire to reread this. I was trying to get into graphic novels at one point, and I spent however much on this book, a lot, $30 on this book, and it was good and cute, but I think someone else could enjoy it. This is my mystery and thriller shelf, and I feel like I could do some serious damage, but I don't want to because I never know what mystery or thriller will really draw me in and catch my attention. I've heard awesome things about While Justice Sleeps, more of like a political thriller by Stacey Abrams, who was a congresswoman, I believe, or is. So I want to keep that one. I think I finally am going to part with the Da Vinci Code, though. I don't think I'll ever pick it up. And if I do ever read it, I would likely listen to it. So I don't need a physical copy. I got this one from my friend Molly, and I think she liked it. So I might hold on to it for now. I want to keep The Last Mrs. Parrish. I've heard kind of polarizing things. Some really love it, some do not. But I'm going to hold on to it. The Sisters Brothers. I think this is another that I got from my parents. I think we will pass on this one. Pass it on to somebody else. I do want to keep The Appeal. I want to keep The Golden Couple. Definitely want to keep these Lisa Jewels. Now that I think about it, maybe it was Bird in Hand that Krista read. But this is the author of The Orphan Train. Not that I've read The Orphan Train, but she's got to be a good writer, right? Actually, I think I could probably do without the story. It sounds similar to a Kristen Hanna that I've read, actually, like an accident. Obviously, all accidents are accidental, but a driving accident, and I think I might just pass. I want to try the plot. I love William Kent Kruger, and I would love to start his Cork O'Connor series at some point in my life. Definitely want to try these Sherry Lapina. Oh, here's one I can unhaul. I decided to DNF this series, the Maggie Hope mystery series, so I can unhaul this one. I definitely want to try this Jennifer McMahon. I think it's actually more of a horror, possibly. One hell of a clever and page-turning possession story. Yeah, sounds good. Kate Morton, this one really intrigues me. Kind of like a historical mystery with maybe some fantastical elements. Maybe I'm making that up, but I do want to keep that one. Oh, my mother gave me this one, and she really wanted me to keep it, but I just don't think, with all of the other books in the world, that I will be reading it. So I will unhaul this one. I cannot unhaul Richard Osman. This is one I'd like to read. It's from a local author to me. I read the first in the series and would like to read the second one soon. I think I want to keep this one too, just because Molly gave it to me. My friend Molly, she's great. She always hands off books to me, and I think it could be good. I am now just looking that Oyen Khan Braithwaite blurbed it on the front. They were the author of My Sister the Serial Killer, and I really liked that book. So we're gonna try it. I need to try Karen Slaughter. Haven't yet. I also have not tried Simone St. James, but I've heard that this is her best, so definitely keeping it. And also keeping Catherine Steadman's Something in the Water. I just hauled that. Over here is a continuation of my mystery and thriller shelves with Louise Penny, and I do not plan on unhauling these at any point. I would love to collect all of the Inspector Armand Gamache books. And this one is also just a collaboration she did with Hillary Clinton, and I think that sounds cool. Kind of like the Stacey Abrams one. Maybe I should do like a political thriller reading vlog. Coming soon. Moving on down, this is my sci-fi, magical realism, and fantasy/romantasy shelf. There's a lot going on here. Because there's so few in each category, I honestly think I'm going to keep everything on these shelves. I've heard really amazing things about The Sparrow over there by Mary Doria Russell. Red Rising, I need to read. I have a couple of Kazuo Ishiguro, which I would like to try out, and then the Sequoia Nagamatsu, How High We Go in the Dark, really intrigues me. As far as magical realism, I've got Other Birds by Sarah Addison Allen. I've heard beautiful things. I would love to read The Water Dancer by Ta-Nehisi Coates. I just recently got Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune, and Legends and Lattes. I have to read. Got to try out this cozy fantasy. This is Romantasy, for the most part. Second in the Crowns of Nyaxia series, the Kindred's Curse saga, Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco with my beautiful purple edges, and we've got A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. I'll be keeping all of those. So, nothing to unhaul here. Just to the right of that shelf is my Outlander shrine. I love, love, love Outlander. The series has gotten a little bit tougher for me to get through, but I have not read An Echo in the Bone, Written in My Own Heart's Blood, or Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone. So that's why these are kind of unread, kind of not. We skipped all of my red shelves and jumped a couple shelves over to my classics shelf. I guess it covers a little bit more than just one shelf. It bleeds on down here, but oof duh. It's hard to get rid of classics because I feel like I could turn to them at any point, or I could pass them down to my kids. So what I have decided though, I do not want to continue on with Toni Morrison. Or at least with this series. Paradise once came up on a Read It or Not, and I think I didn't even publish that Read It or Not because I could not start this book. So I am going to unhaul this one. I've read this one, and I think I just kept it because I read it for school. But I don't think that's a reason to keep it, so I think I'm going to unhaul it. These, like, Barnes & Noble classics I'm going to keep. I'm going to keep The Grapes of Wrath. Definitely going to keep Uncle Tom's Cabin and Wuthering Heights. Stanley Gordon West is a Minnesota author. Going to keep him. Going to keep Pride and Prejudice. Going to keep Night and Harper Lee To Kill a Mockingbird. Scarlet Letter for sure. This is one I have not read, but I do want to try it. It's called Blindness by Jose Saramago. The Sun Also Rises by Hemingway I have read, but gonna keep it. I do want to give Pilgrim at Tinker Creek a try. Getting all messed up here. I definitely want to try A Lesson Before Dying. I don't know, I might have read this at one point in my life, but I don't remember it, so I'm gonna keep it. I know I just said I was not going to read Toni Morrison, but I am going to try these ones. These are not a part of that trilogy, and so I at least just want to have them just in case. I've heard really good things about Sula, actually. For people who love Toni Morrison, I think they like this one and they like The Bluest Eye, so I'm going to keep these. And actually I'm going to move my other Toni Morrison over to be by her other books. This is one I'm going to unhaul. I was at a library book sale, and a friend of mine who I knew in my community, he just picked this up and said, you need to buy this. And I didn't really get a choice because I was about to check out. So I bought this book for $1 or $2 and don't want to read it. I have not read Les Mis, but I can't get rid of it. I want to try this one by Chinua Achebe. I have read Zora Neale Hurston's Their Eyes Were Watching God. Gonna keep it. Sorry, I don't know how much of me you're going to see in this, but I definitely want to read East of Eden. I've read Frankenstein. I have not read The Tempest, but I'm interested. I'm tempted. And I love A Christmas Carol. I'm going to keep that copy. Moving down, I think one of my children put this Rubik's Cube here. We'll move it. We can also put our plant back up here. These are my classics continued. Oof, I don't know. I'm thinking about getting rid of A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. I did read it last year, and it just didn't blow me away. It's such a big book. I'm going to think about this. But I think I'm keeping all the rest in this stack. Got my little Minnesota book. And next we're on to nonfiction. And these are all the nonfiction that I haven't read. All the nonfiction that I have read is on the shelf below. Are there any I want to get rid of? I don't think so. I have an interest in all of these. Orange is the New Black. I really loved this series when it came out. And so I'd like to get the story behind the TV show. Kaukalia Yang is an author from Minnesota, I believe, who immigrated from Vietnam or Laos. And I have this one and this one by them, The Late Homecomer and The Song Poet. So I'm going to keep those two. Gotta read this one eventually by Nick Offerman. He's hilarious. One Man's Fundamentals for Delicious Living. Heck yeah. I have to try Eat, Pray, Love. I really want to read this. I know that so many people have loved this. Made Known Loved is a local author and also from my church. Well, not my exact church, but from the denomination that I'm a part of. And I just would love to hear his ideas about including LGBTQ youth and people in our congregations. I'm going to keep The Case for Grace by Lee Strobel. Grace is always a topic that I like to read about and study. Definitely going to keep this one because I am a librarian and would love to be a bookseller. Mary Roach really intrigues me, and I've read Stiff by her, I've read Bonk by her, and I'd like to try out Grunt, which is The Curious Science of Humans at War. This is another one from Molly, and I definitely want to be more intentional about my reading, so keep that one. My husband read this one and really liked it, so I'm going to give it a try. My mom gave me this one. I feel like it's important. Voices of a People's History in the 21st Century. I want to read this one, especially after reading Just Mercy by Brian Stevenson. Mom Jeans sounds interesting because I'm a mom. I think I was gifted this by my mother-in-law when I first became a mother, so that's almost 5 years ago. Gotta get to this. And Cast by Isabel Wilkerson. I need to read. I've heard such good things. So, not really unhauling any here. I'm just quickly showing you these two shelves. It is my middle grade and YA. I did a pretty big unhaul of these when I reorganized my shelves, and I think I have it how I want it. I don't think there's any I want to get rid of. I've read most of them and want to keep them, share them with my kids once they're of age. The only ones I haven't read are Restart by Gordon Corman, which I still have interest in, The Wild Robot, which I absolutely want to read, and then watch the movie with my kids, Rump by Liesl Shirtliff, and I've read Refugee, Out of My Mind by Sharon Draper. So, gonna keep all of those. As far as YA, I haven't read Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, but I've heard it's a retelling of Harry Potter, and I want to try it out. I haven't read A Lot's Way, but I just got this and want to keep it. All of these have been, like, significant. Oh, I can unhaul this. I read it, not ever gonna return to it. The only John Green I think I would keep is The Fault in Our Stars. And I think I have that lent out to somebody right now. So, I'm gonna unhaul this one. I haven't read Salt to the Sea yet by Rita Sepetys, but really looking forward to doing so. Yeah, all these others I'm gonna keep. I also haven't read Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, but looking forward to the day that I can after I read other books in the Grishaverse. The last shelf of unread books that we are looking at is my borrowed shelf. So these are all books that I don't actually own, that I've borrowed from people. I kind of already went through this off camera and decided on which ones I'm going to unhaul because I wanted to ask those people why they lent them to me and what they think I would like about them. Those 5 on the right are from a friend who is in 8th grade, and these are some of her favorites, so I definitely want to get to these. I will actually try to prioritize them in middle grade March. I love anything about France and Paris, so I'm keeping these 2. The Book of Lost Names is going to be amazing. There's an Eiffel Tower on the front, and it's World War II, so those are all buzzwords for me. My mom lent me Dancing at the Rascal Fair by Ian Duig, and she loved this book, and so I'm going to give it a try. I want to read more Fiona Davis, so I'm going to keep this one. Elizabeth Gilbert intrigues me, especially with Eat, Pray, Love, so I want to give this one a try. I'm willing to try anything by Leanne Moriarty and Jodi Picoult, so these ones are staying. This is one I'm considering unhauling, but I do want to keep it. I feel like people are going away from the church and attending church, and I'd like to read more about that. And this author, Rachel Held Evans, talks about loving, leaving, and finding the church again. So, interested in that. These 2 Brene Browns I have from my dad. I'll at least give them a try. I don't know if I'm super interested in them anymore. Definitely want to try the second in the Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek series. It's not really a series. I think this is just a sequel. I really liked The Home for Unwanted Girls by Joanna Goodman, so I want to keep this one. And Hester sounds awesome by Lori Lico Albanese. It's, you know, a Scarlet Letter retelling, more about Hester Prynne. These three, if you guessed it, are the ones I'm going to unhaul. Oop, let's do a little reshuffling here. No one ever asked. I actually saw Chloe from Always Booked read this recently, and I texted her, asked her, what do you think? She said, if you're super excited about it, keep it, but if not, don't. I also asked my mom, who I think lent it to me, but she doesn't remember it. So I'm going to unhaul this one. Mom said out of the Pam Jenoffs that she has read, this is not her favorite. So I have that other blue star one, The Woman with the Blue Star, on my historical shelves. But this one I'm going to do without. She didn't remember this one hardly at all. And Mrs. Everything by Jennifer Weiner. This is not an author I am interested in. Chick lit. I don't know. Just never wanted to pick it up, even though it has been on this shelf for a long time. So 3 off of this shelf. Let's see how many we unhauled total. We're sitting on the floor because I couldn't be bothered to move all of these books. But we've got 3, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21 books. I did say I wanted to get rid of 20, so I reached my goal. However, not all of these were on my unread shelves. Only 18 were unread, but that's okay. It still brings my number down by quite a bit. That's like at least a whole month or 2 of reading. So glad I can get these off of my shelves and just not have them weighing down on me, either to read or to keep. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know if I'm making any horrible mistakes by unhauling these 21 books. If you drive a really hard bargain, I might keep them, but I don't think so. I feel good about this stack. I might like let it sit, ruminate a bit, but I really want to get my physical shelves pared down, especially the unread books. So this has been a great help. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye.